are back for week 2 of UEFA Champions League playoff predictions. Hello and welcome back here to this video. And today, like I said before, we will be talking about the Champions League playoffs, but the legs 2, the second leg of games. First leg, obviously, last week. Fantastic matches all around. 7 fantastic and exhilarating games, which have all been completed. Today, we will be covering the second leg of playoff predictions. Who will officially go through to the UEFA Champions League stage, and who will be in that hat for the draw on Thursday. 36 teams are supposed to be in it. 29 have already been included. The question is, who will be them extra 7 places to secure Champions League qualification? Who knows? But let's find out today. As rightio then, let's get straight underway with prediction number 1. So first of all, we will be going to the beautiful transcontinental city of Istanbul for Galatasaray versus BSC Young Boys. Arguably the most entertaining tie of the lot comes here in Istanbul. The first leg there in Bern. What a game. What a game. It was an absolute fantastic game there between the two sides. You could really see both sides wanted to get that place so badly. And lucky for us viewers, we've got a whole second leg coming up in, well, it is on Tuesday, but we've got a whole second leg coming up in Istanbul. And what I can say is my prediction is right about Galatasaray. They are a very entertaining side to watch. And you know, when you watch Galatasaray, you notice that you will get a brilliant game of football, either comical defending, brilliant goal scoring. That is what you are bound to get when you watch a Galatasaray game. And I knew that single-handedly watching Galatasaray. Now, watching them on the telly against BSC Young Boys, you notice the exact same thing. But you did also notice Michy Batshuayi is dangerous. He is an absolutely dangerous striker. You saw him. He had 2 chances against that Young Boys keeper, slotted him in, right and left cornered, made it. Well, they came back because of that. They were 2-0 down, and they came back to make it 2-2. Before Ugrinic scored that penalty, which Badaci unfortunately got sent off. I thought it was really, really unlucky there by him. I could see why it was a penalty, but at the same time, Abdullah Bayechi is now been sent off, and he will be out there for this game, which could be a problem there for Galatasaray, because their defenders will be very slim. But I still think Galatasaray will help there. They'll do fine. Okan Buruk is not on the touchline once again, so that will mean the Galatasaray substitute, the Galatasaray interim manager, the assistant, he will come in. So that will be interesting to tell. You did see him as Young Boys. I couldn't remember what his name was. So, what am I going to say? I think it is advantage Galatasaray, let me tell you that. I think with that goal there from Batshuayi, the first goal has brought confidence there with that Galatasaray team. And going to Istanbul from Young Boys, you are going to expect one very hostile crowd. And the crowd will be on your head. Welcome to hell. It will certainly be hell for BSC Young Boys. So what am I going to say this prediction will be? Galatasaray love to concede, but Galatasaray also love to score. So that is why I am going to say a 3-1 Galatasaray win. I think overall, away in Istanbul, Young Boys will feel the pressure and the heat coming to them here. If they manage to beat Galatasaray, then fair enough. Fair enough, they deserve to go through. If they qualify in Istanbul, they deserve to go through. But I just think Galatasaray at home is a different animal to comparing to what they are away. So that is why I'm going to say it will be a 3-1 Galatasaray win. Mauro Icardi and Michy Batshuayi will settle the deal. Joined with, do you know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a Karim Aktugoglu goal to make it 3-1. Young Boys, I think Silveri Genzvoa will get the goal. He wasn't really involved in that game last week, but I'm sure he will be involved in this one in Istanbul. That is why I'm going to say 3-1 there to Galatasaray. Galatasaray, for their second season, will be going through to the UEFA Champions League. So then, from Istanbul, let's go up north there to the Red Bull Arena in Austria, where Red Bull Salzburg will play against Dynamo Kiev from Ukraine. And what do I expect from this? I expect it to be a fairly easy affair there for RB Salzburg, or as UEFA like to say, FC Salzburg. I just think with Salzburg, they have too much firepower, and it was shown last week in Lublin, where Moritz Kjærgaard and Musa Kofayoyo scored the 2 goals to make that game 2-0, so that can put Salzburg in a better advantage going into the second leg in Salzburg. I just think Salzburg were clinical. Dynamo Kiev, they lost. I thought they played okay, but they couldn't score. They could not score, whatever it would be. Andrei Yarmolenko could not score. Vitaly Buyarsky couldn't score. So all of them attacking threats there that Dynamo Kiev had, they did not work in that game last week. They did not work. And I think that will be a massive problem going to Salzburg. Because if there's one place you do not want to go, it's Salzburg. RB Salzburg have a very good home record. Granted, they didn't win the league last year. They are very good in the Champions League here. They are a Champions League established team when they play here at the Red Bull Arena. That's why I am going to say RB Salzburg will win pretty easy. I do think Dynamo Kiev will get a goal, but I am going to say, my bet tells me, my spidey senses tell me it will be a 2-1 Salzburg win. I think Pep Linders, he's done well at the minute there for Salzburg, and I think he will continue getting better. And I do think Moritz Kjærgaard definitely goal. He is the one that should get a goal. He is a man on fire at the moment. And then a Dynamo Kiev player, hopefully for them, Andrei Yarmolenko can get a goal. Then for Salzburg, another player will get a goal, which will mean, you know what, I'm going to say Pilatieski, the defender of Salzburg, will get the goal. So that is why I'm going to say it will be a 2-1 Salzburg win. Overall in aggregate, 4-1 Salzburg through to the UEFA Champions League phase. So from the Red Bull Arena, let's go slightly up north to the Epet Arena in Prague, where Sparta Prague will play host to Malmö FF in the Champions League playoff round. And what I will say, Sparta Prague fans, is you are in dreamland. Sparta Prague have 1 foot in that Champions League phase. Something that has not happened to them since the 2005-2006 season. Yes, they could well and truly do it, because in Malmö, they won the game by 2-0. And 2 players that really impressed me in that game there from Sparta Prague was the Albanian Kasim Laci. I thought he was a very good player on how he got the ball. He passed to a lot of players, made key influential passes towards the players. And Lukasz Halazlin, he also impressed me. Lukasz Halazlin, he impressed me a lot. How I think he obviously got a goal. He was there, very influential in the play there from Sparta Prague. That is why he was one of the key players, and that is why I pointed him as one of the key players before. For Malmö, that's a bad loss. 2-0 at home, that's a really bad loss. And part of me thinks that result against PAOK earlier on is what affected him. Part of me thinks that. I mean, PAOK, they were good. They should have won that game, but unfortunately they didn't. But Malmö were resilient. They knew what to do, Malmö, and they ended up doing very, very well. And yeah, that is why they obviously won that game, go through to this one in Prague. And they lost 2-0, which is the one thing you do not want going into a Champions League playoff game. You do not want that, where you are 2-0 down and you are going away to a very ferocious and hostile crowd here in Prague. So what am I going to say the score will be? Sparta Prague, this is history for them. This is history. They got into the Europa League. They had a very good run in the Europa League last year. Would they do even better qualifying for the Champions League? I think they will. I think Sparta Prague at this home, very good place. Very ferocious and very hostile crowd. And I think that will go on top there of the Sparta Prague players. Malmö will not know what's hit them. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Sparta Prague. I think overall on the day. Sparta Prague will have a better day than Malmö. It wouldn't surprise me if Malmö win, but Sparta Prague go through because, well, they'll win overall. But I just think Sparta Prague will win this game. I think the atmosphere here will be electric. Sparta Prague have one of the most underrated fan bases in Europe, in my opinion. They are that good. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it will be a 2-1 Sparta Prague win. Therefore, you lot will be going to the Champions League phase for the first time in their history. So from the Epicurium, we'll be going east, almost 3,000 kilometers south to Baku, Azerbaijan, for Karabag versus Dinamo Zagreb. And if I am honest, I think Dinamo Zagreb have done it. I think 3-0 is very tough for Karabag. I do think 3-0 is very tough for Karabag. And even that the second leg is here in Baku, I don't think they will have enough to beat Dinamo Zagreb. I mean, granted, they did have a very, very good result against Bayer Leverkusen, which was probably one of their best results in their history, drawing 2-2 to Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. They could have even beaten Bayer Leverkusen here in the Tofik Republikan Stadium in Baku, but they didn't. They obviously conceded a last-minute goal, which Leverkusen do all the time. But I think here in Baku, they will be the better team, I think, Karabag, because they're at home. And there will be a big crowd, obviously. They will want to see their team qualify for the Champions League, like all of the others do. Karabag, it would only be their second time ever that they have ever done this feat. The last time we were in the 2017-18 season, where they did finish 4th. However, they did drop 2 points there to Atletico Madrid. They did draw twice, I believe, to Atletico Madrid, which meant they finished last, but they still held their head high. Dynamo Zagreb, we do know them. They are a more pronounced side in the Champions League. They're a more vocal and more popular team in the Champions League. So that is why Dinamo Zagreb obviously have better players than that. They've got a really good academy system also, which will benefit them in the long run in the Champions League and in the future Croatian League. So how am I saying the score will be? I think Karabag will win, but I think Dynamo Zagreb will go through. I think Karabag will win this. You know what? I think I'm going to go for another 2-1. I don't know what to really go for. Or I'm going to say it might be 3-1 Karabag. 3-1 Karabag. However, Dynamo Zagreb will go through on aggregate by 4-3. Granted, I'm not sure if Dynamo Zagreb will concede 3 goals because they do usually have a good defence. I think here in Baku, Karabag will give them a test. They will be pressing, they will be resilient, they will be determined to try and get that win and to try and go through. And I do think Karabag, when they go 2-0 up, they will be thinking, hang on a minute, we can get it, we've got it in our sides. Then I think Dynamo Zagreb will score late on to make it 2-1 before Karabag just go for another goal, 3-1, game over. So that is why I'm going to say that. Their attack was poor. Everything about Karabag in that game against Zagreb are poor. And I do think Gurbanamov will be able to produce a better side here in Baku. But Dynamo Zagreb are better players and they have more well-known players like the likes of Bruno Petkovic. They've got Martin Petruna, who are all very good players in their right for Dynamo Zagreb. Petruna impressed by having 81% accuracy, 68 touches and 5 key passes for that 3-0 win. So, yeah, I think if Martin Petruna's on it, Karabag are knackered. But I am going to be confident there for Karabag because they're the home team. I am going to say they will win 3-1. However, because of aggregate, Dynamo Zagreb will go through by 4-3. Then, from Azerbaijan, let's go west to the Rajko Mitić Stadium, which is obviously home to Red Star Belgrade, Crvena Zvezda, and is also home to the game between Red Star Belgrade and Bjorda Glimt. And taking some things off that game was Bjorda Glimt was a better side. However, that when they conceded, Orgen Mimovic, when he scored that goal, that has completely changed the tie in my opinion. Bjorda Glimt were in high spirits, high control. When they were 2-0 up, they thought they could go through. I thought that. I thought if it stays 2-0, Bjorda Glimt are going through. But Orgian Mimovic, like I said, scored that goal, and that, for my opinion, has completely changed the influx of how I think this tie will be. This is hell for teams. The Rajko Midic is a stadium you do not want to go to when you have something to hang on to. This is a stadium that isn't that. You have to be, when you play Red Star in a two-legged tie, you have to be 2 or 3 goals up to come here, because then you'll have a much better chance. Björklund are only 1 goal above. That is costly, because if Red Star score an early goal, then I think Björklund are done, because this crowd is feisty. This crowd will want Red Star Belgrade to win. That is what it is about at the Rajko Midic. You will want to see an atmospheric and ferocious crowd. And that is exactly what you will see. And I do think Crvena Zvezda will go through. Even if they are losing 2-1, here it's a different ball game. The Rajko Midic is a different ball game for teams to come. Granted, the top ones tend to win. You do sometimes see a bit of a struggle in there, like Liverpool in 2019, when they did end up beating Liverpool, or in 2018, when they did end up beating Liverpool by 2-0 here at the Rajko Midic. Red Star are a side that you need to fear. You do need to fear, but I do think they will go through. They are a side that you need to fear, but if you know how to play Red Star, if you have the able tactics to beat them, which Knut Knutsen definitely has, I think he will be alright. But this crowd will be their 12th man. They will be, not the referee, the crowd will be. That is why I'm going to say a Crvena Zvezda 2-0 win. Granted, they can concede a lot of goals here and there. I think on a big game like this, Red Star will score, and I don't think Björklund will score at all. I did say they would in the Arctic, obviously because it's their home, but here they will not do. They will not stand a chance against Red Star Belgrade. That is why I'm going to say 2-0 there to Red Star Belgrade. 3-2 on aggregate. Crvena Zvezda are going through to the UEFA Champions League phase. Then from Serbia, let's go up north, back to Prague, this time to the Fortuna Arena, which will be home to the game between Slavia Prague and LOS Lille. And what I will say about Lille is they have 2 of the best players in the world. Jonathan David, he is a very, very talented striker who can go and score a lot of goals. I'm surprised none of the big four leagues like Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga and Serie A have tried to buy him, because he is a talented player. Another talented player, Edin Žegrova, the Kosovan winger. He is a threat. When watching this game, he looked like he could score at any moment, Žegrova, any moment, which will surely scare the Slavia Prague fans going to the Fortuna Arena for the game on Wednesday. So, who do I think will win? I think it's going to be probably Lille. If it's anything, Lille just have better quality than Slavia Prague. Slavia Prague are very unlucky that they've had to face Lille. If they played anybody else, they could have had a chance of going through. But I don't think they will. At Lille, the goalkeeper was man of the match. So that really says a lot. That even though they conceded 2 goals, they could have conceded a lot more. And home field advantage will give them a little bit of a chance, but I don't think they will do it. Slavia Prague did score 2 goals on that game, were disallowed. But if the goalkeeper is man of the match again, that tells me that, well, the defence in the midfield is very poor. So that is why I am going to say a 3-1 Lille win away from home. It should be fairly easy there for Lille. Lille should really get the job done. And, that's why I'm going to say 3-1 to Lille. Lille will qualify into the next round. Pretty easy for that prediction, in my opinion. Which will be between Slovan Bratislava and Midtjylland. One game that was very unique last week because no one really paid attention to it. That you had all the bigger and better games, but then this was the one that, well, no one really paid attention. Nobody really wanted to watch this game. And let me tell you, this game was very intriguing. Very interesting. It did end up as a 1-1 draw in Midtjylland, so Slovan Bratislava will have a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, I think this will be a very intriguing game. Midtjylland, last game when they played at home, they grew into the game. Once they scored that goal in like the 70th minute and so on, they grew into that game, and you could see that they wanted to win the game. You could see that Midtjylland wanted to win the game as it went on. I mean, you will need like your star players like Buxad Ju, Franculino Ju, Madbeck Sørensen, that will need to improve for Midtjylland if they want to get through. Slovan Bratislava, they don't really have the standout names, but Tigran Barsegian was a standout player in the game in Denmark, and I think he will do just well. And I actually think, for the first ever time in their history, Slovan Bratislava will go through to the playoff, to the Champions League phase. I really believe that. This is their time. If they played anybody else, if they played like a Lille, they'd have it. But they're playing Midtjylland. And I'm not saying Midtjylland are a bad side by any meaning. I just think if Slovan Bratislava can be clinical, and if they can score 2 early goals, that's them done. That is them done. They will go through. Because I don't think Midtjylland will be better if they do get a goal. I think once that goal there from Midtjylland occurred, Midtjylland were back into the game. One thing Bratislava cannot do is let Midtjylland score. Because if Midtjylland score 1, they might score about 2 or 3. And that's when your chance is over. For Slovan Bratislava, this is their best chance. And I think they will do it just fine here in the Telenepole in Bratislava. I'm going to say it will be a 2-0 Slovan Bratislava win. Goals from Tigran Barsegian and Juraj Kutka will make this game change all of its head and make Slovan Bratislava go through for the first ever time. I think Vladimir Weiss will be crowned as probably the best manager Slovan Bratislava has ever had, because they are going through to the Champions League league stage, in my opinion, with a 2-0 win here in Slovakia. So just like that, oh no, you're joking. You're joking, that's the end of the Champions League playoffs. Oh no. Yeah, I know, it is a shame. It always is a shame. But this means the Champions League phase will actually begin for once. So 36 teams will be going into that hat on Thursday. I will try and do a video about it. I don't know how I will, but I'll have to think of an idea of what to do and all that. I might do like a prediction on every team, so I think will win and that, but that might be long-winded, so I'm not too sure. But I will think during the meantime. But just like that, I will get going, and I will be seeing you in a couple of days for more videos to come, I am sure. As I will go, see you soon, stay safe, talking to you a lot better in the next one. See ya, and bye-bye.